Hello and welcome to the Softly Inspired channel, where I help you speak with confidence about your business. I'm Julie Kenny, and I know that when you can speak with confidence, you are more confident. Today, I'm going to be talking about social media content, doing videos, and how you can switch up that content, extend your reach, and make it more valuable. So when I'm talking about speaking about your business, that can be anything from introducing yourself at networking to going onto a conference stage. But for a lot of us, it's about speaking on Facebook Live, doing videos that we might upload here, and speaking to people maybe over Zoom or other ways that we have these conversations. But why do I want to talk about this? Well, today I really want to talk about interviewing. And what I mean by that is interviewing somebody who maybe has used your product or your service, somebody who works with people who are similar to your audience. So you may have overlaps there, and people who really appreciate what it is that you do. And there will be their own reasons for that. So why should we talk in interviews? Well, for a start, it's a lot easier for a lot of us. Yes, it's daunting, but Facebook Lives can be daunting for a lot of us. But the reason they're often daunting is that it doesn't feel very natural. It can feel, or it may just be, pretty much a monologue of how we're talking to a camera, like I'm doing to this. And we don't get that immediate feedback. And when we're not getting that immediate feedback, we're not speaking in a very authentic way. So we tend to feel we need to script what we're going to say, or we waffle and keep thinking of new things, and hopefully that's going to make more sense to people. Or we sort of tail off and sometimes sound quite static in how we deliver that. So we're not sounding authentic. We're not necessarily sounding as engaging as we might do. And that's a really common result of how we speak in lives. And the other thing that we do, and most of us do this at some point or another, we'll be looking at the camera, especially if we're using a phone, because at the phone we're just there on that same level. And as we're talking, we're thinking, oh, my nose doesn't look right there, and the lighting isn't right, and this is wrong. And we're really distracted by how we appear on camera. So we're not there really giving that value that we want to give. And interviews can be really, really helpful for this. Because when we're talking in an interview, and I don't mean a job interview, but we're talking one-to-one on a screen. So we might be doing it on a Facebook Live, and you can bring people into that. Or it might be that we choose to do a conversation on Zoom and record it later, or we might record it in a different way, but we can record that and then upload it to social media. When we do that, we're responding to that other person. So we're asking questions of each other, we're responding to that. And first, it takes away that let's look at ourselves, because we're focusing more on that other person. It takes away that feeling of being too scripted, because we are responding much more authentically. And it adds extra value because it gives us things to talk about in a way that we might not think to share them if we're pre-planning what it is we're going to go and talk about. So these are really fantastic ways, I think, of engaging in a much more natural way on social media with video. And I know it's a bit of a contradiction, or it's a big contradiction that I'm talking to you one-to-one here right now. But it does help to have a mix of content. When somebody sees that you have that, there's an interview going on your page or your Facebook group, or it might be on your channel, that is different. That is something that they can see isn't going to be quite the same as what they've seen before. And therefore it adds that little bit more intrigue and interest. So who might you have these interviews with? I think that's a really good question that I say, go and have interviews. Who do I interview? Who should interview me? Fantastic question. Essentially, it's your network, and your network, and I say this time and time again to all the people I work with when I talk about my business, it's about networking with your potential clients or your existing clients or your past clients as well in this case. It's about talking to your collaborators. Those are people who complement your business, will have certainly some and maybe a lot of overlap in the ideal client, or but they don't do exactly what you do. And it will be people who are advocating for your business. So they may not need your business, but they understand the value of what you do. It may be that they've been through something really similar to your journey. And that is something that is helpful for you to share, because not everybody goes through your journey. Not everybody has the same problems, as exactly the same problems as you had, and the reasons you have for doing what you do. But other people who may advocate on your behalf, it might be that they don't need what you need because they have already found their solutions. But at the same time, they're not solving that problem for your customers either. So they're not a direct competitor, but they can say, I had that problem, I solved it this way, but I know somebody else who is helping people directly. So those are your advocates. And these are all people who would make really good interviewees on your Facebook page, on your LinkedIn, on your social media, in all those ways. So I really think, I advise you to think, who can you be interviewing? Who would add value for your potential clients? Who would add value for your current clients? Who would inspire you? If you interview somebody who inspires you, because that's going to be amazing to see how you can be inspired and how you can continue in the journey that you're on. I think that also engages many audiences too. So those are fantastic reasons why. So the whys are because it can help your confidence. Yes, it can sound daunting to give an interview, but also many of us are daunted by doing a Facebook Live. And I keep saying Facebook, there are other social media platforms you might be doing video on. And it can be daunting to say yes, but when you are in the moment and you are having that conversation, it takes a lot of that pressure off you to decide what to say next, to know how to respond to that, to worry about what you look like on camera because you're focused elsewhere. So it helps with your confidence. because it helps with your confidence and because you are being in this conversation, it also, I think, helps with your authenticity. A lot of us want to script what we're going to say. And I made notes about what I was going to say today. I haven't entirely scripted it, but I've made notes. And we sort of have this plan. But when somebody asks us a question and that really touches us, or we ask somebody else a question and that gets to the heart of what they do, then we speak much more authentically. Our questions are more authentic, our answers are more authentic. And that really comes across to those who are watching. So we've got this confidence and we've got this authenticity. But I cannot stress enough, it is also about your reach. If you have an audience and the person you are speaking to have an audience, even though there will be very similar people, it is extremely unlikely that you have exactly the same audience. So if you share that interview on both your channels or all your social media streams, whether it's live or not live, it doesn't really matter that much. You are going to reach their audience and they are going to reach your audience, and both of you are able to give value. And I think that's really, really helpful. Even if you are simply asking questions. First, you are there, you are being seen. Secondly, people understand a little bit more about what you do. And thirdly, you are being out there, getting your vibe out there and getting your people understanding who you are. I think that comes across a lot stronger when you are seen in conversation. Essentially, that's what an interview is. It's being seen in a conversation. So your reach and the potential of your reach is much bigger. And I think that amplifies up because it amplifies up because that an interview is actually often much more interesting to watch than a one person talk. So all this month, and of course they're going to be on there for longer. I don't know when you're watching this, but this month I'm recording this and onwards. I'm going to be interviewing people in my network, and that is going to be shared in my group on my Facebook page. Not everything will be on everywhere. It will depend on who I'm talking to and how they feel about being shared, because it is a mutual respect thing. We have to respect each other's space and what we're happy to share in that way. But you will be seeing those interviews, and I really hope that you come and engage with those. So if this has been helpful, do leave a comment on leave a comment below. I will drop a link and let you link on with my Facebook page. I have a group that is for women only, but if you are a woman in business, please do come and join us. It's a really safe space to be learning and developing your confident speaking. And I'm just going to leave you with this thought. Remember that I am Judy Kenny. I'm here to help you speak with confidence. And today, please go and speak to somebody about your business, because there are people who need to know now. Have a great day.